All right. Good morning, everyone. We are back Saturday. We got my man, Coach Nick Massey, Lead.Pray.Hodl. So, morning, Nick.
Good morning. Happy to be here.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite ones. Definitely not something I'm very too familiar with. I'm trying to learn a lot more about it. But yeah, my man's on Bitcoin. Go check out his YouTube channel. But a lot of noise going on recently. So maybe fill us in quickly, like what's going on and what should we expect maybe?
Well, a lot is going on, especially since October 10th. A couple Fridays ago was a massive liquidation event, and it's created so much fear, uncertainty, and doubt in the Bitcoin and crypto community because it wasn't just Bitcoin that was hit, it was especially the altcoins, which is why I say Bitcoin, not crypto, all the time. But what happens is institutions like Binance and Winterman and all these brokerages, they hold a bunch of coins. And hey, buddy, how's it going?
Hey, what's up, gentlemen? Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome.
I can't hear you, Mark.
Yeah, we got you. Just changing it, mirroring his camera.
Okay.
All right, go ahead. Yeah, we're going. We're rolling, Nick. Go ahead, man.
Okay. Yeah. So what I was saying was, a couple of weeks ago we had October 10th event, massive liquidations. This is why I say Bitcoin, not crypto, because crypto really got hit, those altcoins. But Bitcoin as well, obviously, took a little bit of a beating as it went from all-time highs down to 104, 102, some reports even at 99,000 a Bitcoin, which is still crazy because I remember praying for 100,000 Bitcoin price, and here we are way above it, which always makes me laugh with the Crash Brothers. You know what I'm saying? But what happens is there's people like Binance and other places that control a lot of the coins, the tokens for all these things, and they're able to manipulate the price through their oracles and through their coins by moving the coins around. And if you know anything about Bitcoin, there is no regulation in terms of wash trading. So in stocks and other items like that, you can't wash trade. I don't know what happened to my thing, but you can't wash trade. And what means is you can't sell and rebuy back. But in Bitcoin, you can do that, right? You have to wait in stocks for 30 days before you can repurchase your stocks. But in Bitcoin, you can sell that day at 124. If you own a big enough bag, bring it down to 102 and buy all those coins for cheaper. But that's not all they were doing, was buying coins and getting those coins cheaper and shaking out those paper hands and people like that. What they were also doing was liquidating people. People perp trade online and they put bets in. Basically, I bet and I gamble that I'm going to put $1 million and I'm going to 25x it, 50x, 100x. So if it goes down 25x, you lose big. If it goes up 25x, you win big, 100x. But at the same time, there is a price where if it touches, you lose all the money you put up. And what they did was they saw that there was $19 billion worth of people's leverage just hanging out below the 125, 124 Bitcoin price and all the other cryptos. So they wiped them all out in one sweep, liquidated $19 billion, got the coins back even cheaper, and people are just straight panicked. Like, what are we doing here? What happened? Are all these people selling at once? Well, that's not really what happened. They just got manipulated out. They got shaken out. And these market makers, I think they're criminals for what they did, but it's like legal mafia, right? And I'm not talking about the NBA right now. I'm talking about just Bitcoin and crypto. So yeah, that's one of the big things that happened within the last 2 weeks.
Definitely, we can dig into the NBA after. But morning, Hugo. It's been a while, so we got Stay Winning Wealth on. So what's going on, man? I'll put your channel in the chat too. It's been a while, so people can go follow, subscribe. But you are definitely in the crypto Bitcoin space. So I know this is your first time being on with Nick, Lead.Pray.Hodl. He's probably fixing his screen back there. I'm not sure, but what's going on? Any news you got for the crypto Bitcoin space also?
Hey, what's up? Good morning, Mark, and good morning, Nick. It's nice to meet you and be on this live stream with you. Flavio, thank you for the support and tuning in. Old guy REI, thank you for tuning in as well. Man, I'm excited that the new ADA ETF has been approved recently. So if we follow gold and when the gold ETF took place and the spike that we saw right after, we should expect a similar performance in Cardano, which I think is a great buy-in right now at about 62 cents. The all-time high was over $3. So not financial advice, but I think it's positive news in the crypto space that more of these ETFs keep getting approved, because then that big institutional money backs it up, creating more demand. And obviously, the big thing about crypto is that a lot of these supplies are limited. In Bitcoin itself, it's 21 million. So just think about all the inflows that are taking place. There's definitely not enough for everyone to hold one Bitcoin out there in the world. So that's what's exciting about it.
What's going on with your channel and everything too? I see you doing live streams. Is that your merchandise, your hat? So what's going on with all of that?
Oh yeah, so I recently was at an event in Huntington Beach out here in Orange County called Cars and Copters. So a bunch of helicopter owners and supercar owners meet up and flex, their toys. So I was able to interview them. It turns out one of them is actually the founder of Trusted Smart Chain, which is a brand new blockchain. Um, and this is actually their merch. This is actually their hat. This right here is my merch. The shirt's my merch, but the hat is their merch. So I talked to the founder and co-founder and the big heads of Trusted Smart Chain. So what they're doing is actually very revolutionary. So as you may know, you got to go through the FEC, Wall Street, and a bunch of people wanting their cut if you want to take a company public, right? And it takes like a whole year, and it could take $3 to $5 million to even take a company public and set that IPO date, right? And even at that point, like when I joined a minute later in the call, you were talking about how if you want to trade that, then buy and sell and make a profit. Now you got to wait on the sidelines for 30 days, right?
Yeah.
So what Trusted Smart Chain is doing is revolutionizing that and leveling the playing field. What I mean by that is a lot of times these IPOs, uh, they already have buyers, which are these accredited investors, right? So what that means is about 95 to 99% of the people, us included, can't even buy it yet. We have to wait for them to dump on us or hope they don't dump on us so we can actually make a profit. So what Trusted Smart Chain is doing, and again, this is their merch, is they're doing all of that on the blockchain. So instead of you spending $2 to $5 million on to take your company public, you're spending less than $50,000 to put it on the blockchain and make it public that way through a coin. And all that coin will be on the Trusted Smart Chain blockchain. So you need to be an accredited investor for that, and you can start with as little as $5. So that's very, very early. It just went live last month. The coin's not even out yet, but the supply is also 21 million. I think it's very, very early. A lot of people still don't understand what can be done with blockchain technology. But if we could all go back and hold Bitcoin for 15 years, we'd probably be like, all right, I'll hold for 15 years, right? Like I'll hide it in a shoe or something and like just forget about it. If we could all go back and do that, we would, versus working 30, 40 years, right? So Trusted Smart Chain, I think, offers that same opportunity. And these mid-cap companies that don't want to spend $2 to $5 million to become public can raise the funds that they need by going through the blockchain at Trusted Smart Chain blockchain technology. And that's my latest update on crypto. Again, that mainnet went live last month, and again, the Cardano ETF just got approved, which is another blockchain that I'm very bullish on because it doesn't shut down. So recently we had the Amazon shutdown recently, and then you saw all these other things shut down. And you're like, okay, so that blockchain is not decentralized then because it shut down. But Cardano is still running. It doesn't shut down. And that's truly decentralized. It's actually 30 times more decentralized than Ethereum. Mm-hmm. Hey, welcome back, Nick. Pleasure to be here with you.
Hey, man, happy to be here with you too as well. And I was listening. I was trying to get my background working again, but so whatever. It's all good.
Yeah.
You got any stuff for Hugo since your first time connecting with him? I know you're more Bitcoin specifically, right, Nick?
That's what I was going to ask. This isn't one of those Haktua coin things going on, right? You know what I mean? You're going to disappear in a couple weeks, Trump coin style or something, But no, everything. The whole world's going to be switching to blockchain. It's very clear. It's just like a hyper-speeded internet. Everything's internet's old. This is new. And everything's going to be switching to that. You see stable coins now with the US dollar and the whole nine, it's going to start moving around again. So, and you mentioned, if we could go back 15 years ago and hold Bitcoin, we would. Of course, that would be I think about the movie Back to the Future, and I was like, I don't need the almanac. Just let me buy the Bitcoin and I'd be winning. But what I
Correct.
want to say is I think that we're still in the very beginning stages. We still got like landlines type of thing. If you think about what gold has just been doing out of fear and panic, they've been doing a Bitcoin market cap every week for weeks. So if you think about just that went into Bitcoin, it would be doubling and doubling and doubling and doubling. So if you think $100,000 is a big deal for Bitcoin, it's going to get to $1 million. I can guarantee you that. Or
Oh,
I
for
can't
sure.
guarantee you that because it's not financial advice. But I honestly I could run the numbers to where it could do that with global adoption, and it would be nice, obviously. So you should dollar cost average. You should buy Bitcoin if that's what your plan is. You know what I mean? I could see a future of that. Now, could it all go to zero? Sure. I don't know. Maybe some sort of hacking that hasn't happened yet, some quantum computing, but it hasn't happened so far. You know what I mean? And so far, it's been pretty good. And last time I checked, the U.S. government is about to pass some crypto bills that are gonna create regulation, so you can't wash trade things like Bitcoin and crypto anymore. That's going to be a huge deal because it's going to build trust within the community.
So I do have Hugo and Nick's channels in the chat, so go subscribe if you haven't yet. Also, Hard Hat to Rentals. Stephen Coyote looks like he's got his figured out the name for his YouTube channel. No videos yet, but can't wait to see the first one, Stephen. But he does say that's exactly what I would do: drop 30 to 40K in Bitcoin and let it ride for 10 to 15 years. Nick, you recently was on with Zuber recently. Did your probably couple times a month recording with him, but he also brought up an interesting, I think it was a tweet maybe from Andrew Tate talking about the price of Bitcoin, and you guys had a discussion on that. So maybe talk on that, and maybe Hugo can throw in his thoughts on what that tweet was about.
Yeah, I mean, Andrew Tate, he's obviously an online character. You know what I mean? He's very controversial, I think, for obvious reasons. He's the ultimate kind of clickbaiter, and he makes money doing it. So people fall into those traps and those potholes, and then they're mad that he's successful, but they give him a lot of weight. But what he said was basically Bitcoin's going down to 26,000. It's crashing. He did this after the big crash, even though he's a heavy, supposedly Bitcoiner. But it's just, again, that's all clickbait. He's trying to, get a rise out of people, and spark panic and fear. And basically what really is being said, though, is that if you're selling your Bitcoin like that, you really don't understand what Bitcoin is. If Bitcoin is the devalue of the dollar, it's the hardest asset on the planet with its limited supply. It can't be created more of it. You know what I mean? So there isn't any reason unless you're fearful. And fear, uncertainty, and doubt is what this kind of topic is all about. And that's a real thing. We all have issues with that. I did a couple of I do a daily hodl video where I give Bitcoin news and financial updates every day. But one of the things I talked about is the psychology of understanding investing, especially in the crypto market, because it's more volatile. When you see the S&P drop 1%, you don't really panic. When you drop 15, 20%, Bitcoin has dropped 50% before, and that scares the hell out of you, but you only lose the money if you sell it. If you hold on to it, you would be richer. There's never been 4 years in Bitcoin where you bought and held for 4 years and it was worth less. It's always been worth more. So global adoption is happening, and we need to remove all the fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and don't even get caught up. You need to buy it and put your phone away, put your brokerage account, put it on sleep mode, whatever you need to do, and just move on with your life. Go shop, go watch movies, go onto all of our channels, hit the like button and subscribe, but you need to move forward. Yep.
Hugo, did you see that tweet by Andrew Tate, or what's your thoughts on that? Any chance of 26K, you think?
You know what? I did come across it. I didn't actually watch the whole clip because once I saw that, I was like, well, good for us. We'll just go buy more. When it crashed in 2020, he was able to accumulate a couple of Bitcoins because it went down to like 6 or 7 grand, I believe. And it shot back up to 40. So, I mean, that was such a quick flip. You can't see those type of gains, sadly, in real estate in 30 days like that. But yeah, it doesn't stop fear in a lot of people. But when I saw that, I was like, all right, cool. Then I'll just be ready and buy some more.
So that's kind of exactly Hard Hat to Rentals thought, right? Well, first he says Bitcoin will keep going 100%. I remember if Bitcoin could 40K, and it did if Bitcoin hit 80K, and it did. Bitcoin couldn't hit 100K, and it did. So, and he's also saying, yeah, 26K is crazy. But if it did, he would sell all 4 of his rentals and put it all in Bitcoin. And that's a great lead in to maybe Coach Nick Massey. And he can kind of, I'm not sure if Hugo knows the story about Nick's jumping into Bitcoin and selling rentals and whatnot. So maybe touch on that also, Nick.
Oh, nice. Yeah, let us know.
Oh yeah, I was a big real estate person. I'm not Michael Zuber big in those type of portfolios. I had a couple rentals. I built my own ADU from the garage. I had another duplex, and I rented them all out. And I sold them all so I could throw it into Bitcoin. And since I've done it's obviously went up. It's been great. And I continue to believe that it's going to be great. Now, have I taken some chips off the table? Oh yeah, definitely. You know what I mean? Pay for my house, pay for my brand new truck I got, pay for whatever. Of course I do. I think everyone should have a castle. You know what I mean? So they need to, put their money towards something like that, get their foundation taken care of, and then you could actually be a little riskier. You could actually move things around. But yeah, I sold my rentals, went into Bitcoin. I have diversified most recently because I made a lot of money. So I want to make sure that I just have, I could sell some if I needed to. I don't want to sell on a 30K drop, you know what I mean? And I want to actually have some to buy on a 30K drop. So I kind of maneuver that, but I don't like holding cash because of the debasement effect. So yeah, I did do that. I actually sold my rentals. I still love real estate. Mark knows I'm trying to move to Charlotte, get another house. Even though it'd be a second home, it wouldn't be a rental, but it might be a rental for a while until I, transition all the way over there.
Yo, Nick, congratulations, man. This is what people got to do to win. You got to do what the 99% of the people aren't doing. So I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but now Cardano is acting as a layer 2 to Bitcoin.
I heard of that, yeah.
So in the stock market, for example, if you have like 150K in Charles Schwab, right, you can borrow 75K against it, which I've done, and then flip real estate that way. But you can use the smart contracts now on Cardano and have your Bitcoin as collateral. So you can keep your chips on the table. Just wanted to throw that out there. I'm not sure how well versed you are in the other blockchain, but this is why we talk. This is why Mark hosts these live streams. So even if you didn't know, someone in the audience didn't know, but we could all just learn from each other like that, because it's still very early. Even at 100K, it's still very, very early of where we're at,
Yeah, and included in that is now even Jamie Dimon, who was talking bad about Bitcoin, even though they were stacking the whole time and lying to you.
I knew they were, actually.
Yeah. Dude, they were selling, how bad it was here in America and buying it while they were in Europe and doing all these crazy tricks, to get the price down. And that's there's sharks out there. It's called Shark Tank, that show, because these people are after your money for a reason. Evan O'Leary, he's a big Bitcoiner as well.
Yeah,
but
sure.
That's what's going on. You can actually now, Jamie Dimon talked about, they're going to be able to custodial your Bitcoin, and you're going to be able to lend it out. You can borrow against it, and you can buy real estate. You can buy, probably a lot of people I think are going to buy more Bitcoin. The problem is you don't want to get over leveraged, because that's how they wipe you out. But if you own spot Bitcoin, and I understand I heard about the L2 situation. I really like Solana, but I don't really get into it. I feel like I'm losing money because I like Bitcoin. So, yeah. But yeah, the blockchains changing the world. It's a digital world now. You know what I mean? There's going to be robots here. This is something I disagree with Dion sometimes, because he's like, big diesel trucks are not going to be. They're always going to need a person. I'm like, have you watched Tesla? They're literally making big diesel trucks so that they don't need people, because they have FSD, full self-driving. It's going to happen. Yeah. They're building robots called Optimus. They already have a robo-taxi, you know what I mean, where there's no driver in there. So Uber and Lyft, you're in trouble. I don't know if you see what's the writing on the wall. And a lot of times, even though the economy is shifting in the labor market, there's a huge AI bubble, or a huge AI issue where they're taking jobs because they're simplifying it. People are stupid sometimes, they're lazy sometimes, they don't show up sometimes, they're getting catty. My wife has been in HR for years.
They need healthcare.
Yeah, they need healthcare, they need workers' comp. You're not going to need that for the new ATM machines and the new robot machines. And I'm not saying that it's a great thing. I'm just saying that the world is changing, just like it did for our ancestors before us and before that. The world's changing, and you have to start really thinking smarter, you know what I mean? And not thinking harder. I'm going to work very hard. I'm going to do the 40 years. all of us probably read Rich Dad Poor Dad. Man, if there was a book that the man was right, you know what I mean? It was Rich Dad Poor Dad and Kiyosaki, because he saw the future. Don't work harder, work smarter. Let your money make money while you're sleeping. And that's really what's been going on with Bitcoin. That's what's going on with MicroStrategy, who all they do is buy Bitcoin. You know, they have software company, but it's just for fun, for kicks and giggles. But you know, that's not really what's making money anymore. They're just buying Bitcoin. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, and I hope people see it. The ones that are tuning in, and I appreciate all the support. You know, yeah, the big talk is how many jobs it's going to replace, right? But if you really think about it, and I was probably only like 5 when this was going on. Maybe Mark remembers better. But Web 1.0, right? The early 90s, right? The ones that were successful now are the ones that adopted that technology, Web 1.0. We're just, 30 years later, now it's Web 3.0. So it's who's going to adopt to it, who's going to invest wisely in it.
Yeah.
So when you think about it back then, Amazon, Microsoft, they were all under $1 as far as when you can get in on the market.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at now with Web 3.0. It's about doing your own research and seeing, okay, hey, maybe robots are going to replace this sector. So where do I invest my money according to seeing the future that way? And history repeats itself. So instead of Web 1.0, now it's Web 3.0. Who's going to be around 20 years from now? And because of their embracement of this new technology.
Yeah, on that point, I want to say what's up to Joe Farrell tuning in,
What's up,
lending for
Joe?
entrepreneurs. I'm actually going to go, I'll be live streaming with him and Lindsay later on today, kind of piggybacking off of maybe this Bitcoin blockchain talk, even about the AI. We're going to be talking about how people just seem like they're quitting out there, leaving the real estate game, just feeling a lot of, like you're saying, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and just if you're not willing to jump into the game, play the game, I mean, you're definitely going to be on the other side of things. And, even like Michael Zuber was talking about, I know you guys do your Bitcoin thing, Nick, but he's also believing in the blockchain from the fractional real estate standpoint. So he has a company, Real Bricks, who does fractional real estate, is a monthly guest now. And also me and Joseph Cachapalia, which we kind of do a couple of times a month, a fractional Friday, and we break down fractional real estate on the blockchain. So like you're saying, definitely things are changing. And if you're not willing to pivot or notice it, I mean, you're definitely going to be like a lot of people today, right? That, the government shuts down. A lot of people are struggling and in a lot of pain. But you guys, anything else in the bit?
Something to that real quick,
Yep.
Mark? I want to talk about that for real estate and Bitcoin. They're both incredible ways to invest. You mentioned how people are starting to leave real estate and pivot to maybe something else, or just go back to their 9-to-5 and W-2, and it's too hard. The real truth is they don't understand what they're doing. That's what I just said with Bitcoin. They don't understand how the dips work and the liquidation levels. It's not that people are selling. They're just grabbing the leverage. It's like the casino gamblers, and they're going to take them out. So people run away from Bitcoin, not understanding what they have. The same is happening for real estate. They don't understand what Michael Zuber has been telling them for a long time. The interest rates are up, affordability is down, and so people haven't been buying, you know what I mean? Because they're not going to leave their 2% rate to go buy a house for 7% rate. So right now is not the time to leave real estate. It's, in my opinion, the time to get into real estate as well. And that's one of the things that happens with Bitcoin, that happens with real estate: fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And that's also why he talks about the doomers and how they're really hurting so many people. They're hurting them for Bitcoin when they're talking bad about it. They're hurting them for real estate when they're talking bad about it, because people get afraid. Not only do you have analysis by paralysis, but you just have fear. I'm lucky my wife really stuck to me. And when I first sold all my houses, bought Bitcoin, we were down 100K the first month. And I was like, oh my gosh, what did I do? I was terrified. And my wife was like, no, you believed in it. You did the research. You got to give it time, and you don't lose until you sell. So let's hold on. And because of her, I held on, and we wouldn't be millionaires because without her, you know what I mean? To be honest with you, but it's that strength, that courage, that discipline, but most of all, that understanding of what you're investing in. And when you really understand, you're not going to stop doing real estate right now. You're actually going to get into real estate right now. And you're not going to stop Bitcoin because it dropped real quick from all-time highs to what you prayed for to be an all-time high. You're going to wait because you know that it's just getting started when the Clarity Act and the Genius Act get passed in December or whenever the damn government opens back up. You know what I mean? But we're at the right time for a lot of things. Maybe not the stock market. Maybe it is frothy. I don't know. But I feel good about real estate. I feel good about Bitcoin. And I feel good about telling people, just learn. I can't tell you to invest, but I do ask you to learn more. Understand what you're investing in. And then once you do that, you're going to really be surprised with how much courage you have. And then get your network. I'm lucky I got people like Mark and others that do real estate or do Bitcoin, and they make you feel better when you're fearful. I have a few millionaire friends. We text about Bitcoin, especially on October 10th when we just got our butt wiped out. And it was like, they're like, here's what it is. It's natural. It's normal. And, you didn't see Zuber panicking the last 3 years because we were in a real estate recession. No, he was just continuing to do what he does. And that's what Bitcoiners should be doing. Continuing to DCA if you believe in it, and you're going to grow. Your wealth you're going to look up and you're going to be like, holy mackerel, I didn't have to do 10 more years of my job because I invested in assets that were hard assets that only go up with time because you understand that dollar debasement.
Joe Farrell says, yeah, I love that story. Also, real estate, can't panic, sell. Hard hat to rentals. Maybe I think Hugo knows about this story though, right? Don't you all wish you could go back in time and sell that pizza to that guy for 40,000 Bitcoin? Are you familiar with that story, Hugo?
Yeah, for sure. That's classic, man. We celebrated in Twitter on all the crypto degens. Today's Pizza Day, National Pizza Day, National Bitcoin Pizza Day. Yeah, I know. That's crazy, huh?
Didn't so but he lost it, right?
Or it was like 10,000 Bitcoin though. I don't know if it was 40,000 Bitcoin, but either way,
but still,
it's $1 billion pizza, you know what I mean? But yeah. Well, I mean, again, you know what? That's not unusual. I'm gonna defend that a little bit, not for the pizza, but guess what?
It had to be done, I think.
We sell a house thinking we're doing a great job. Well, they've been fix up a house, they sell it, and they've been doing it for 20 years. And there's always been another buyer, and it just kind of been going higher, other than like a black swan event. But that's what we do. You sell a business, you sell a sports team for $1 billion, and you're like, oh, made $1 billion. And then they're selling it for $3 billion a couple years later.
Well, win the championship, now it's $3 billion.
Yeah, look at the Celtics. They sold. I mean, the Lakers sold. I mean, and I never think, I don't know. I just think things go up because of the dollar debasement, and you can't look bad. Just don't hold your money on the sidelines. Go invest it in something else that you trust, that you studied, and that you network with, because things go up because of dollar debasement. And don't feel bad. Maybe turn those 2 pizzas into something else. I doubt it because this is a freak story. But you know what I'm saying. The concept is still real.
Want to say what's up to Big Val tuning in, who I always tease that only Hugo has a better voice than Val. So one day I'll get both of you on. But Hugo, you're going to say something?
Yeah, that's a great story because it had to happen. Someone had to transact first to show this is what the future is. So someone had to pay 10, 40, 50, 100,000 to make something happen. And he did it. And that day is memorable now. And look at us 15 years later.
So this was a comment that was on Nick's video with Michael Zuber. So I want to see. So I'm sure both of you can give your 2 cents on it. But this individual says, Bitcoin and crypto, what do you really own? What is its intrinsic value? Not much different than the paper money being printed today, in my opinion. You need new buyers to prop up the value. Sounds like something we are familiar with. I personally will invest and plan my future with hard assets that have intrinsic value and utility.
Well, Bitcoin's the hardest asset on the planet. He just doesn't understand the concept yet. So let's talk about that. There's only going to be 21 million Bitcoins ever. You could always build another house if that's what you think is a house. You could always build whatever. You could create another robot. You could do whatever you want. There's never going to be more than 21 million coins ever on the planet. And I don't know if you checked, but there's billions of people here. And so that's what he doesn't understand about that. In addition, everything is buying and selling. It's all about what do people want, right? So every stock, I think you would say, wow, investing in Tesla is pretty important, right? I'm going to buy some shares. Well, guess what? Every time you buy a share, someone sold a share. So that's what it's all about. Someone's buying, someone's selling. You want to buy that house? I want to sell it for $1 million, but get no offers. You're only going to get what the value of someone believes it to be, no matter what the asset is. It could be worth nothing. You know how many people haven't sold a house because they're like trying to get the money they want for it? Well, no. That's not how it works. When real estate crashed in 08 and 09, they wanted their, they just left the house. Some of them just stopped paying because it wasn't even worth selling it because they would lose money on it. So they just lived in it a little longer and then walked away. So it's true though. You know what I mean? I know literally 7 people that lived in it as long as they could, and then they just left it and they saved all their cash from the mortgage. I'm not saying it's more, ethical or anything. That's the truth. There's buyers, there's sellers, and people put value on it. And right now, people are saying this coin is worth $100 and something thousand. In addition, that paper money, guess what? It was paper. I'm a history teacher. It was nothing. It's just paper. They said gold, we'll hold it in reserves, and this is going to represent paper.
That's a history, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not. When you're online
How
at
did that work out?
Bank of America, Wells Fargo, you don't even see a dollar most of the time anymore. It's all digital. We're just saying, you got this money. That's what Bitcoin is. It's digital. We're getting away from the heavy. Hey, I want you to transfer all those pounds of gold. It ain't going to happen. It's too heavy. It's too hard. It's going to take 9 months. It's going to, whatever it is. But digital assets can be transferred. You know what I mean? And instantly. So I just think that the man doesn't understand. You know what I'm saying? And that's okay because I didn't understand. I was fearful myself. I was fearful in real estate. Oh, termites, toilets, tenants. We're all fearful until we learn more about it, And once we learn more about it, we're like, man, the doomers were scaring me, but they didn't even understand it themselves. And you want to get advice from a broke person, right? You want someone that's been doing it, successful in it. I've been successful in Bitcoin. Mark's successful in real estate right now, and this guy's channel is successful in everything he touches, he's winning, right? So it's like, these are the people you want to learn from, the ones that are winning.
So I want to say quickly, good morning to Dion Talk Financial Freedom. Thanks for doing a live stream with me the other day. We'll have you back on. It's going to be a part 2. It's a very interesting discussion we had. Had a lot of pushback on the guest that came on. But thanks for tuning in, Dion. But Hugo, any thoughts on that comment that was on Nick's video with Michael Zuber?
I recall a little bit about the comment that you read. Something about where's the intrinsic value, right? So if you go to El Salvador, it's already legal tender. You can buy and sell using Bitcoin. And that's where we're going to be at now with the pro-crypto president and pro-crypto administration. Sure, the government's on hold, but that just means more buying opportunity at the moment. We were talking a little bit earlier about real estate, how everyone's scared, right? A lot of people are priced out. Whether you want to call it Agenda 2030, right? That you're going to own nothing and be happy. But blockchain technology bridges that gap. So now you can do the tokenization of real estate. Fine, you can't buy a whole house in California no more. Go buy 1/10 of it through this blockchain technology, right? And the crazy part about where crypto is going is everyone that's embracing it is encouraging 0% tax. El Salvador is now safer than Baltimore and Chicago and Atlanta. That, and everyone's investing there because now they can see, oh, this region is worth it now. You have it in Dubai, now you have it in Portugal, right? So think about Miami and how much it's grown in the last 10 years. I've been telling people for the last 10 years to buy real estate in Miami. Like even people in Miami are priced out because they didn't listen to me. And that's where we're heading, right? All these 0%, it just encourages entrepreneurs to go in and invest in these areas where crypto is not taxed, right? So now they held Bitcoin for X amount of years, right? Probably your dollar cost average is probably like 30, 40 grand. Now you're like 3X from there, right? You could take some of those chips and invest at a 0% and make it grow. Now you can go back to the real estate. So I'm glad you read that comment, Mark, because based on where we are now at adoption, most people feel that way. People fear what they can't understand. And the ones that win are the ones that get in early, do their own research, and are able to take that risk. Me personally, that story you told about you selling your real estate and your wife backing you up, I echo what Joel was saying. That is a beautiful story. Millennial women, Gen Z women, they probably would have walked out, with instant gratification in our generation. So I was like, yeah, that is a beautiful story. But where is I going with this? I totally forgot. I lost my turn of
All
thought
right,
right
why I
there.
see Nick ready to go because Dion pushing Nick's button. So hold on right here. So Dion is saying so the dollar has no value because it is digital, but Bitcoin has value because it's digital. Still love you, Nick.
Well, again, he's not understanding what I'm saying, but maybe I worded it wrong as well. The value of the dollar has the dollar has value because we say it has value. Bitcoin has value because we have agreed it has value. It's just paper. It's just whatever. But when we come together and agree upon it, we say gold has value because it's scarce. The truth is, every year they find more gold. There's always more gold all the time. There's countries just waiting to find the more gold. They got to dig it up. It's what we give value to. We're just agreeing upon that. Back in the day, they had coins. In history, you understand coins, and they would have gold and silver, still the same stuff that's been around for a long time. But they were shaving the coins down so they could take the coins, right? It just whatever we agree that has value. Right now, we agree houses have value, right? Oh, that house is worth this in California or California, as Dion would say, right? Or but in that house over there, which is 10 times bigger and nicer in another state, it's worth less. No, we're just providing what we believe the value is. We're agreeing that this house is worth $1 million. That house is only worth 400,000, even though it's bigger, nicer, and better, because we provide value for what we believe in. So that I think that's where we differ, is that I just think that everyone is agreeing right now that Bitcoin is worth obviously $111,000. That's coming together. You now have American Express with Coinbase. They have a new credit card that gives you 4% rewards on Bitcoin. They give you Bitcoin, 4% of your cash that you're spending. You have Gemini doing the same thing. So the adoption is just getting started. And I'm excited about that for everyone. And even to talk about fractional ownership, I don't really believe that real estate is too expensive and Bitcoin's too expensive. I think that's all nonsense. But if you want to even go fractional, there's people over here in Newport Beach, they're buying like 1/8 of the year of their house in Balboa Island. And is that stupid because you're not getting the full house? No, you're getting a fractional part of it that you really love. So if you want to fractionalize Bitcoin, I can't get a whole coin. Well, why can't you get 5,000, $1, whatever it is? Fractionalizing something is still worth value if we all agree upon it to be worth value. Now, could it all go to zero? Sure, that might happen. But as long as it doesn't, it's still someone buying and someone selling, and we're agreeing upon a price. That's my thought.
Good morning, Michelle. Thanks for tuning in. Maybe Hugo, you can touch on this. It says, speaking out of ignorance, what is your Bitcoin doing right now? Rentals are producing rents via people living in them. Bitcoin is earning interest as how my emergency fund is.
Well, I can answer that. I think, and if I understand the question, it's like I think you're trying to say that rentals are more valuable because you can, or because you have people. Wait, hang on. Let me read this again. Speaking out of ignorance, what is Bitcoin doing right now? Rentals are producing rents via people living in them.
Well,
So
think on that. Think on that,
let me
real.
answer it
Oh, both of you.
from.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm not 100% clear on the question, right? But I see this debate a lot on X, real estate versus Bitcoin. And I think I'm the one out there, especially in content creation, where I'm like, you guys, you can do both. Right? So if for those that follow me, and this maybe answer Flavio's question in the comments, the way I invest, right, in real estate, for example, is you have appreciation and then you have cash flow. And luckily, I'm able to do both in California. And you could do the same with Bitcoin. You can hold it for appreciation, and now with this layer 2 technology on Cardano, you could invest it. You could. This is the great thing about going back to the blockchain. So think about a certificate of deposit at the bank, right? You're like, oh, we'll pay you 6%, but you got to hold it for a year. Like it's got to be locked in. You can do that on blockchain technology without logging it in. You can get that 6% APY, and it's not locked in. So if it's like, oh, what's your Bitcoin doing compared to the dollar? They're doing the exact same thing, except one could be liquidated at any time. The other one's being held for you to get those type of returns, right? You can also lend your Bitcoin through these smart contracts. You could have an NFT on the blockchain that holds its value, right? So if you bought the NFT for 1 Satoshi and 1 Satoshi is worth 10 cents, a year from now, 1 Satoshi is worth 25 cents, for example, right? Um, that's the difference in it. So going back to what you were saying is, you have these credit cards now that give you, right? We all love those travel rewards. We all love the cash back. But now I'm using a debit card where I get Bitcoin back every single time. And I'm like, I'm no longer going to have a savings account. This is my savings account now. Because if I wanted to sit there and it be liquid, I'm not going to get that 6% return. I'm going to get 0.01% return. So I might as well have it sitting on Bitcoin and again play with appreciation and cash flow. Now I'm still in an age, right? I'm in my 30s, so it's like I could probably hold on to that appreciation. I don't have a family yet, but my game plan is, and Mark knows, work my ass off in my 20s, use that money to make more money in my 30s. So I'm holding on and converting my real estate, my Bitcoin, and every other asset to cash flowing assets by the time I hit my 40s. So this is where personal finance is personal. Everyone's on a different journey, but I think I'm the only one in social media space connecting the both, where it's like, hey, we could build wealth both with real estate and with crypto. You don't have to pick one or the other. And eventually the technology is there where you can bridge that gap. So compared to the dollar, just to go further into answering that question, people were upset in 2020 about the election, right? They're still upset about the way voting goes. They're upset about now where our money's going, right? All these billions, what Doge has done, not Doge the coin, Doge the department for Mila, uh, tracking where all this money is going, right? We had to use our tax dollars for that. But with the blockchain, everything is transparent. You can go in on the blockchain and check exactly where tax dollars are going if we start using that technology for the ledger of the US.
Yeah.
And that's something that the dollar can't do.
I want to also, if I'm understanding this question through a cash flowing thing,
Yeah.
I mentioned this to Mark. He already knows. I sell covered calls on my Bitcoin. Covered calls are something you could do on your stock. Every 100 shares of something, you could sell a covered call, and you could basically lend it out and make cash flow. I literally make thousands upon thousands of dollars on my Bitcoin every month. And I own IBIT. I actually don't just buy spot Bitcoin because I want to do covered calls. So I own IBIT. I sell a monthly covered call, and you can actually make money on top of the money because you end up closing your call and reopening another one. Like you find a dip, you close it, it pumps again, you open another one, and you can just continuously make money every single month. And that's what I do. I make a lot of money doing this because of that. I mean, I've made and I'm not going to say, but I've made a lot of money. I made a lot of money, like stupid amounts of money. You know
Wait,
what I mean?
where do you live?
You
Yeah,
both live in California, man.
Oh, okay. I believe him.
Well, hey, I think Dion.
Where in California are you at?
As Dion would say, a blue state with the red counties, great for real estate. Those are all smart kind of things that could happen because you could get a lot of
Okay.
appreciation and stuff. So, I don't know, but I make a plenty of money on my Bitcoin, and I'm going to teach you if you know Mark. I don't know this person, but covered calls, easy money. Look it up.
Yeah, and that's actually a very good question. So I'm glad we're able to provide two perspectives on it because at the end of the day, it's personal, right? It's like, how is it going to work for you? But yeah, just for the record, guys, I'm in Orange County, California. So yeah, the red county in the blue state. We're like the Florida of California, the last standing common sense.
Hold on. So Michelle is adding a little bit more to maybe her initial question. So she's saying go easy, and she's speaking from ignorance.
Oh yeah.
But so she's
No, that's
trying
what
to
we're here for.
yeah.
Thank
So
you.
she's trying to understand a little bit more. She says you use Bitcoin like you would dollars. I really don't know anything about it. Or use dollars to buy Bitcoin and have them in an account.
Yeah.
And then I guess she said the way I see it, I take $1 and buy a rental. It gives me rent, and later I want to sell for $2.
Yeah. Same thing for Bitcoin. I buy Bitcoin at 50,000. It's now worth 111,000. And all that time I was also selling covered calls daily, weekly, monthly, 6 months, whatever you want. And I made cash flow. So I made cash all the way up. And guess what? When it goes down, I made cash all the way down. And then I make it back up. It's really an incredible thing that people don't really talk about. I don't think there's a lot of options traders, but this is like the simplest way to make money. If you could watch a covered call video, I guess I should probably make one. I keep talking about this, but I'm not sure how to like show my profile without showing all my information. But yeah, I mean, you could literally do the thing. That's why I think I love real estate. I think it's amazing. It's incredible. I want to get probably some more real estate with my Bitcoin money and dollar cost average my rents, my cash flow from there. It just right now, I think we're at the beginning of Bitcoin still, and
You
that's
want
why.
to buy my next flip?
Yeah, yeah. And I'm in San Bernardino County, which is red county as well.
Hey, you're closer to Vegas. That's cool.
Flavio is saying, yeah, I don't know what language you guys are talking, but I would like to learn. Right. So,
You know what,
uh,
Mark? This means you got to start your own school and your own subscription.
no, man,
I'll
I
join
ain't
you, man.
selling nothing.
You got to start your own.
I'm actually gonna start my own school actually, but I'm just not doing it yet because I don't have enough followers yet. I'm gonna
Oh,
wait and grow it,
yes.
and I'm gonna
All
do
right, let's combine our schools, Mark.
it. Oh, you got one already?
No,
Oh,
but eventually.
yeah, I already have. I'm a teacher myself in real life too, as well.
Oh, there you go. It's
So
perfect.
teaching
Yeah,
school, like I'm excited for it all, but I'm still building. I'm still teaching, and she said, "Take it easy on me, or my ignorance." I don't. There's nothing wrong. We get like questions like this all the time, doubters. And
yeah.
it doesn't bother me.
I love that
The
question.
whole point of our channels is to teach.
Because a lot of people are even afraid to ask questions like that.
Yeah.
Because it could come across like, oh, excuse my ignorance. No, please ask me this. I
Yes.
welcome it.
You're excited. That's why I started.
Exactly. Yeah.
I ran out of people to talk about Bitcoin with, so I was like, I'm gonna go on the internet.
There you go.
Well, if you, just to remind you folks, if you haven't yet, there is Hugo's channel, and I'll put Nick's channel also, and go like he said it. So Nick is, I mean, he is in real estate, but his channel is primarily Bitcoin finance. So go check him out. Like I said, he puts daily content out.
Oh, I have a new link, Mark. Instead of POD at the end, it's now USD.
Oh man, now I gotta go save another one, man.
Maybe in 20 years it'll be BTC or something.
You guys are making more work for me. But yeah, go check them out. So maybe I'm a little bit off too, but maybe so you can borrow. Can you borrow off the iBit, or can you borrow?
Yeah, you could borrow on it, but they're making it easier. Right now, it's particularly easy for commercial to borrow off it in self custody. But like I said, the banks see this is where the executive orders that the administration has done, whether you like Trump or not, has nothing. No, it does no bearing. But when they actually passed the legislation, that they literally had all the big crypto reps in there a couple days ago talking about this on both sides of the aisle. They want to get this done because they understand. As a history teacher, I'm going to tell you right now what's going on. In China, they're selling the US Treasury bonds and they're buying gold. They saw that Russia got sanctions against them and they couldn't get their money that was in Treasury bonds at all during this time. That's one of the ways that we sanctioned them for trying to go to war with Ukraine. So China went, oh, crap. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to do that to us if we get in a conflict with them or somebody. We can't have that. So gold is ripping, not just because mom and pops are just buying it. Literally a big institution, a big government, China, is selling treasury bonds and buying gold because they want to hedge their stuff. So that's a big deal. You know what I mean? And guess what the United States is doing? Donald Trump sees this, whether you like him or not. At least his team does. Scott Bessent, Howard Lutnick. I love those guys. It doesn't matter what you think about Trump. Those guys are pretty good at what they do. But long story short is they're doing stable coins. They're putting the US dollar on stable coins. So as one's going to gold, the US is going to stable coins. And that's going to also be backed by a Bitcoin reserve. So there's a lot more to talk about. I can't just talk about it in 10 minutes or whatever without taking up the whole time. But that's what's going on right now.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yep, Dion does say if you only work for dollars and you don't put your dollars into crypto, stocks, or real estate, you will work until you die.
Yeah.
Well said, Dion and Mitch Schmidt. Yeah, it's a diversification strategy for sure.
Yeah, so Michelle comments, that makes sense. So Bitcoin is a diversification strategy. Thank you. I did put Hugo's his new link for his channel in the chat. So if you haven't, go subscribe. Yeah, so I think, like you said, I think when I did a fractional one with Joseph, he also brought an individual on that is big in the fractional real estate space. And same thing, he looks at Bitcoin as a place to put the cash flow he's generating from rentals, fractional real estate into the Bitcoin as like you said, a savings account, storage, and then he can borrow off it or whatnot. But it's his reserves, and then he uses that to invest. And like let's say like whatever the rate his real estate brings in, and you may be borrowing it off the Bitcoin at 7% or whatnot. But it's that arbitrage of his money growing in multiple places.
Yeah, if you even have cash, if Dion's watching, I don't know if he's watching through YouTube or something else. I can't see any comments, but there's a thing called STRC. It's a preferred stock from MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy is basically a Bitcoin company that it's going to be a Bitcoin bank eventually. I think that's why they changed their name to Strategy B. But they have STRC stock. It's a preferred stock, and it gives you over 10% interest on your money in the dividend, as they just buy Bitcoin. So it's like, I wouldn't even hold cash. I put it in that if I wanted to go cash at all. I put it in Bitcoin, but I also believe in other things. You don't have to do one thing. Like I said, I still got my house. I'm going to buy my Charlotte house soon. I got a brand new truck, 1.75% interest. See, the dollar is going to zero as Suber and everyone else is. The dollar continues to get worth less. And as that does, other assets like real estate and Bitcoin, they become more because there's no ceiling for those ones. As dollars go down, the other assets go up. And that's why Dion is 100% correct that you're going to work forever because your dollar is worth. It's sad what they're doing in countries like Argentina, where they had a savings account. Let's say they had $100,000 in American dollars. Well, it's now worth $5,000 because of their inflation problems and their issues. And even our government's trying to bail them out. They're giving them $40 billion because their country is so messed up. Now, are there other reasons? Sure, we're going to get some of their rare earth minerals, maybe some of their beef. And there's a whole history lesson to all that. It's not all what you see on the front. It's on the back end where we're getting things. But the point is, at any point, a country's dollar could collapse. And when it does, everything you've saved is worthless. You know what I mean? And hopefully, if you have real estate, that it's going to still be yours. You know what I mean? But even with Bitcoin, all these countries, a lot of them suck. The third world countries, they're getting ripped off by their government. It's true. They're getting the overinflation. They're keeping their money that's in savings. Sometimes they freeze their accounts and keep their cash, like it's happened before. But they could buy Bitcoin in Hungary or wherever, Ethiopia, and have value globally. That's why I think it's a beautiful money. I think it's a perfect money in that way, is that like it could save the world from the abuse that's going on from these people that are in charge and bad and their political governments. Not talking about ours, but they are debasing us. Yes.
I do want to bring up Yasik's comment because I think that's definitely why I like bringing Nick on and what Nick's channel is about. And he says, I love this discussion. Wish more people could talk like that and share their knowledge in specific asset. Keep it coming. So yeah. Hugo, do you think we have enough time to touch on that topic you also want to dig into a little bit, or you want to stick on the Bitcoin space? Or
for algorithm purposes, we'll stick on the Bitcoin and
okay.
Let's just do it again on a different live stream for algorithm purposes.
Sounds good. Anything else you guys want to touch on the Bitcoin or crypto?
I think that, like anything in this world, we have to start talking to each other in a way that it's okay to be wrong. I could be wrong about something. You could be wrong about something, but we've become a society that we don't want to talk to anybody because we might disagree with what they believe in. I think I saw your video yesterday, Mark, and the guy was a Cowboys fan and you and me are Bears fans. You know what I mean? So it's like, sometimes people don't even talk because of that. Sometimes people in family, I'm religious, they're not. Sometimes I'm Republican, they're Democrat, I'm independent, whatever it is. But because of that, there's no real growth. See, growth comes from confrontation. And confrontation is just meeting the truth head on. You know what I mean? We're just coming straight together. And we're going to have a discussion. And you take away what you think. Now, there's no reason to, hey, you're dumb because you're asking a question. Now, all those people, they could go to hell. You know what I mean? But this is great. If you sometimes Dion, I love Dion. He's great. And he'll try to challenge me. I'll throw some questions at him. But I love the man because he's willing to talk. And we need to grow up a little bit.
Well, I mean, if you're a Cowboys fan, you are pretty dumb. I'll just throw that out there. No, but
else a Cowboys fan, man. Be quiet. I'm never gonna.
Well, so Ian Hoover was on yesterday. He's co-owner with Deacon Hoover, some of the people that we work with in Pittsburgh. So yeah, he was on yesterday. He was definitely interested in the Bitcoin space because he does invest in Bitcoin. And the funny thing is he mentioned that the funny thing he mentioned was that he has a vacant unit in Pittsburgh right now, and they so because it's getting cold time of the month in the Northeast, they want to keep the heat on, right, to make sure the house stays warm, the pipes don't freeze. But he also does Bitcoin mining, so him and his partner were like, you know what, since we're gonna already have the utilities on, we may as well put this stuff in the basement for the time being and Bitcoin mine. So it was pretty interesting that he brought that up yesterday. Dion is mentioning to me he is going live real soon.
Awesome.
All right, so yeah, I'll jump on everyone. If you when we wrap it up, Dion will be going live. So jump over there, check it out. Alex will be on, and they'll be talking about cash out refinances, Cowboys and lives.
And then what time is your live stream with?
I'll be back at 1 p.m. Pacific time with Joe Farrell and Lindsay. Lindsay was recently on Bigger Pockets Rookie. But yeah, we're gonna kind of piggyback off of this with how people have fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and a lot of people seems like they're just giving up out there. But what's the next for you, Hugo? I know Nick's doing daily stuff. What can we expect from you on your channel?
I'll be uploading the interview with the founder of the Trusted Smart Chain. So if you guys like this crypto talk, that's going to be a blockchain specific interview. So that'll be going live on Monday. But the one I just uploaded yesterday was interviewing a helicopter owner and just advice he has for the younger generation.
Very cool. Nick, when's your next video coming out?
I'm going to shoot one out this morning. I just recorded it, and I'm going to throw it on there. You know, it's funny. I got a little grief in the comments. They were like, you need to break it down into chapters. And I'm like, bro, I don't know how to do that. You know what I mean? I've only had my channel for 2 months. You know what I mean?
Hey, well, you know what, Nick? Like, so me and Zuber do a weekly recap, right, on his comment section on Thursdays. But trust me, there even he gets all kind of stuff about comments. Like guys are like, Zuber, your audio is not matching with your guests, and you got to work on your audio. And they're like, there's all kind of comments. Just yeah, it's crazy. I mean, people are complaining about all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. Funny. Well, and the guy's like, I love your stuff, but bro, it's a 10-minute video. What do you got to skip to anyways?
Yeah.
Yeah. Minutes.
But that's where we're at today, right? People just find anything to complain about. It's crazy. Yeah. Glad we could do this. Nick, like I said, I enjoy having you on. You're definitely passionate about the Bitcoin space. Hugo, it's always great when we can connect. It's been a while, but it's always fun getting you back on. I'm not sure if Hugo's going to be in Vegas for the ORAD event again. He was with us at year one. Coach Nick, we're going to convince you to get there yet. I know we've been pestering you about it.
That's how Zuber, he needs a real estate to Bitcoin speaker, I think. You know what I mean?
I know. One day I'm like, 1 year I'll be a speaker. We'll see.
Dude, I looked at the hotels, by the way. Woo, boy.
Are you serious? Because it looks like everything is like discounted. Like Vegas is getting hit hard.
For that weekend, though, I think it's like New Kids on the Block or Backstreet Boys are there.
Oh, wow.
Well, yeah, Backstreet, they're going to be there. Yeah.
Like, okay. I think it was like $700. I don't have the money, but I was like, wow, that's crazy because it is being discounted. It's like
it's a business write-off.
Well, I did taxes for 7 years, so write-off, losing the money, you know.
All right. Well, thanks for doing this. We'll get you guys back on again, and it's always fun. Everyone, if not, Dion should be going live, or he is live, so go jump over there, check it out, go hit the like button there, and I will see you folks at 1 p.m. Pacific today.